So let me tell you something that most people completely miss. You're not losing because you're being lazy with money. You're losing because you're playing the wrong game, the real game of money. See, the rich, they're not necessarily working harder. They're just playing with a different set of rules, right? Rules built around buying back time and multiplying money and staying calm while everyone else is panicking. And here's the thing, you can learn these same rules too. They're not from some secret vault or some overnight hack, but through six powerful mindset shifts that'll change how you see and how you use your money. Because once you start playing the real game, the one that they'll never teach you in school, you stop surviving and you actually start building. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Most people, they hear that quote and they think it's all about getting rich, but it's not. It's about your freedom because there's a hidden game being played with money, right? And most people, they don't even realize they're on the losing team. See, the wealthy, they don't just earn more, they think completely differently. They use money like a lever and they build systems that buy them peace, margin, and time, not just nicer stuff. And here's the part that might surprise you. My wife and I, we figured this out while we were earning just average salaries. We didn't win the lottery or we didn't even inherit any wealth. We just stopped playing the wrong game. And when you stop seeing money as your goal and you start treating it like the tool that it is, that's when everything starts to change, right? Because money, it doesn't change who you are. It actually just reveals you. It amplifies whatever's already in your heart. And it's like handing somebody a brick, right? They can use it to build a home or they can actually use it to break a window. It's the same tool, just completely different results. And that's why building wealth isn't just about strategy, it's about stewardship, how you spend, how you save, and even how you move with it. So in this video, I'll show you exactly how the wealthy are actually playing the game and how you can use those same set of rules by starting with stop playing the wrong game. If you're constantly stressed about money, it might not be because you're failing. It might be because you're unknowingly playing a game that you were never meant to win. See, most people think wealth comes down to working harder, budgeting better, or even just wanting it more. Now, obviously, there's some truth to that, but the rich don't just work differently. They think differently too. While most people chase money through hours and effort, they chase control over their time, their cash flow, and even their decisions. See, that's the real rule book. Buy back your time, own your margin, and build the systems that work even when you don't. Because with the wrong game, effort, it feels like quicksand. But with the right game, effort compounds. So let's do a comparison. Two people work the same job, same hours, and even have the same income. One lives for today, they max out their lifestyle, they finance a $40,000 car, spend impulsively, and hope that a raise or even a side hustle will fix things. Now, the other person, they live on less than what they make, they invest the difference, they build a buffer and redirect every single dollar to buy back their time instead of buying toys. See, that second person, they might not look rich in the lens of today's society, but they're winning because they're playing a game where the goal isn't to impress other people, it's to be actually free. Now, here's the part that hits the hardest. Most of us were handed a rule book designed to keep us surviving, not actually thriving. So live paycheck to paycheck, work more bills, no margin, and no options, right? Meanwhile, the wealthy, they build the systems that let their money work while they sleep. Now, they don't react to every single bump on the road. Instead, they anticipate, they prepare, and they play the long term. So you ever find yourself doing that dangerous math in your head at like 3 a.m. in the morning? The one where there's groceries, rent, the surprise bill, the birthday gift that you totally forgot about. And then you realize if one thing goes wrong this month, it all falls apart. That's not laziness. That's just the wrong game. And my wife and I, we're not immune to those feelings. We've been there in our past life. So as an actionable step, I want you to write down your own rules. Now, I'm not trying to be cheesy, but no, seriously, grab a piece of paper, define your version of what winning looks like to you, not your friends, not Instagram, yours. Does that mean more time with family, less stress, or even more giving? Because once you define the real goal, your real goal, you'll stop wasting energy chasing someone else's. Because the moment you stop playing the wrong game, you'll realize the next move isn't more hours, it's to change how to use them. And that's where the real leverage begins. But before we dive into the next section, if this video is really helping you see a wealth a little differently, do me a quick favor, hit that like button or even tap subscribe. It's totally free and it literally takes a second. And I see people in the comments who didn't even realize they weren't subscribed. So just double check real quick. It really helps this message reach more people who really want to build real wealth quietly and on their own terms. Now let's get back to it. Don't trade time for money. Build leverage instead. If you get paid when you show up, you'll always be stuck because no matter how smart or even how hardworking you are, you still only get 24 hours in a day. See, trading time for money is where almost everyone starts, right? But it's not where wealth is built. The wealthy know something most people never figure out. If your income depends entirely on your effort and your effort alone, you'll never escape the grind. You need leverage, something that keeps growing even when you're not on the clock, right? Because you can't out hustle time, but you can build systems that multiply it. Now, leverage comes in many forms, so I'm just going to name off just a few. But there's money leverage. That's every invested dollar is treated like an employee that works for you 24/7. Then there's skill leverage. That's learn something once, master it, and then apply it for years. And then there's content leverage. You can write it, you can film it, then you can just share it once and let it compound forever. And then there's network leverage. That's building relationships over time, over a long period of time sometimes. And that's often opening up doors and new opportunities that you never even knew existed. And lastly, there's system leverage. That's automating your savings, your budgeting, and your investing, which I often mention many times. But here's the hard truth. Poor people, they often work harder, but wealthy people, they build engines, right? These are engines that don't break down when they want to rest, or engines that earn while they sleep. But honestly, this is how they reclaim their time without losing income. So I'll be honest with you, this one took me years to figure out. I used to think that late nights and even hustling over the weekends and on holidays meant I was being disciplined. But the brutal reality was I was just trading my peace for pennies and giving away my precious time and energy that I'll never get back with my wife and my kids. And the scariest part, it felt normal. And it took me a long time to drop that kind of mindset. So this week, I want you to ask yourself, where can I build leverage? So I want you to pick one area. That could be your income or your time or even your habits. And then find one move that can help you get more from the effort you're already giving, right? So here's some ideas. You can automate a recurring transfer into your investments. You can even negotiate one bill so you save every month going forward. Or you can set up a template you can reuse in your work or even your side hustle. So for me, it's skill leverage, right? As a digital designer, I've been designing brands and even marketing campaigns for over 15 years. So I took that refined skill set and combined it with my passion for financial literacy and learning technology, and I built this channel. So you don't need $1 million plan, you just need one lever and the discipline to actually keep pulling it constantly. Because once you start building leverage, you stop chasing paychecks and you start stacking assets that work harder than you ever could. So now let's talk about how you can turn your income into assets, not upgrades. Most people upgrade their lifestyle when they earn more, but the wealthy, they upgrade their assets. So every dollar earned has two different paths it could take. So you can use it to look richer today, or you can actually become wealthier tomorrow. So the middle class, they constantly get trapped in upgrading, right? So in your car, bigger house, fancier phones and vacations. But every upgrade tightens that ball and chain with higher payments, more pressure to impress, and even lesser margin. Wealthy people, they don't let lifestyle scale with income. They let ownership scale instead. So they buy more assets, not nicer stuff, because they know something most people completely miss. The goal isn't to look rich. It's to stop needing income altogether because they're building enough assets that they no longer need or depend on a paycheck. So let's say that you get a $5,000 raise. Most people turn that into a new car lease or a fancy vacation or even a shiny toy. But someone playing the real game of money, they redirect that 5 grand into buying more time, ETFs or index funds, rental property, or building or growing a business, even high quality income stocks in their TFSA or Roth IRA. Now, that's money that actually starts working for you, right? It generates income and cash flow without your hours attached to it. And that's exactly how freedom is built. So here's a question that changed everything for me. If I lost 100% of my income tomorrow, what would I regret spending money on this year? Honestly, that one hit me hard because it strips away all that noise, right? It forces me to see what's temporary and what actually matters. So most of what I thought were upgrades, they're just distractions in disguise. So as an actionable step this week, I want you to look at your income and then ask yourself, how much of this am I turning into actual assets? And how much of it is into upgrades? Then I want you to reallocate just one upgrade. Cancel that luxury that's not adding true value to your life and redirect that money into actual asset ownership. And then focus on funding your TFSA or Roth IRA. And then simply buy shares of an ETF. Or it could even be as simple as starting a sinking fund with your future self. Either way, you don't necessarily need more income. You just need better conversion. Because once your income starts working harder than you do, you stop chasing every single dollar and you start actually building systems that makes money while you sleep. So let's build a system that prints calm, not panic. Have you ever had that moment where your chest tightens up after opening your bank account? Honestly, you're not alone. But here's what the wealthy do completely differently. They don't check their money in a panic, right? They check it with peace because they've built systems that run without stress. So most people, they manage their money emotionally, spending when they're stressed or saving when they're scared or checking their account only when something feels off. But here's the thing, that's not a system. That's survival. And wealthy people don't rely on discipline alone. They build automations, habits, and rules that make good decisions for them happen by default. Because peace of mind isn't found in how much money you make, it's found in how predictable your money becomes. So I used to think that budgeting was for broke people. When I finally started using Every Dollar app, I saw where every single dollar was actually going. And that's when everything changed for us. So my wife and I, we stopped guessing and we stopped overspending. And for the first time, we felt calm and absolute clarity. Not because we were rich, but because we had a plan. So as an actionable step, I want you to start with one system today. That could be as simple as auto transferring $25 a week to your TFSA or Roth IRA. Then start tracking your net worth monthly using apps like wealthica.com or empower.com. Or it could be opening a separate savings account like EQ Bank, Coho, or Wealthsimple if you're Canadian like me. And lastly, create a $0 based budgeting system using the Every Dollar app. So I'll make sure to link everything down below so you could go check it out on your own time. But remember, you don't need 10 apps and a butt ton of spreadsheets. You just need one system that works quietly in the background so you can live your life with clarity and calm and not panic. Because once you build a system that creates calm and clarity, you'll finally have the mental space to think long term and protect the thing most people never even consider, your future freedom. Now let's talk about how to protect the most important asset, you. The biggest risk to your wealth isn't inflation and it isn't taxes. It's you, running on fumes and making decisions from burnout. So remember, you're the engine behind every single dollar earned, saved, and invested. So your time, your focus, your health, and your energy, that's the real asset. But most people, they never protect it, right? They push through exhaustion. They say yes to everything. And they burn their prime years building wealth for everyone else but themselves. See, the wealthy, they create margin because they know if they fall apart, the whole plan does. Protecting your asset doesn't mean being lazy. It means being strategic about where your energy is actually going. The wealthy, they focus on delegating tasks that drain them. They say no to low ROI work, and they prioritize rest before burnout actually hits. Then lastly, they set boundaries around their time and their attention. It's not being selfish. It's about being self-aware and making it sustainable. Because your long-term financial success isn't just about earning more money. It's about lasting long enough to enjoy it. I used to think I had to grind through everything, right? No breaks, no excuses, just pure hustle. But I realized something after getting really sick and started having declining health issues. I'm not a machine. And if I don't protect my health and energy, I lose more than just money. I lose peace. And I lose my presence for my family, which is the very reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. And lastly, I lose my health. And that's when I started treating rest like an investment and not a reward. So as an actionable step, I want you to protect your asset this week. I want you to say no to tasks that drain you. Then I want you to be intentional about blocking 1 hour for rest or even prayer. Then I want you to prioritize getting 7+ hours of sleep 3 nights in a row. And I'll be honest with you, sleep is still an area of my life where I personally struggle with today. And lastly, review commitments and cut what doesn't serve your mission. So if it adds peace, clarity, and capacity, it adds value. Protect the asset, you. Because once you protect your health and energy, you start moving with intentionality instead of always reacting, right? And that's exactly how the wealthy protect the one thing money can't buy: time. Buy back time before you buy stuff. What if I told you the next thing you buy actually made your life lighter and not heavier? So most people earn more and then they instantly upgrade their life to match it, like I mentioned earlier. But the rich, they upgrade their time first. They use money to create margin, not more clutter, because they know peace is more valuable than possessions. So I want you to imagine this. You get a bonus. Most people, they celebrate with a big spend, a fancy dinner, a nice new toy, or even a lifestyle jump. But someone playing the real game of money, they use it to buy back their time. So they hire out chores that steal 3 hours a week, or they extend their emergency fund so they could say no to toxic work, or they invest it into something that grows while they sleep or rest. This is where wealth stops being about status and starts being about freedom. My wife and I started doing this when we were living lean. Instead of upgrading our car, we upgraded our peace. We used extra cash to intentionally pay down debt faster, like our mortgage. We focused on simplifying our life and strategically freeing up hours for our kids and for each other. And honestly, that gave us more joy than any sort of thing or possession ever could, right? So as an actionable step, I want you to give this a shot. Before your next big purchase, I want you to ask yourself, does this give me back my time or does it take it away? Because if it adds stress, clutter, or even complexity to your life, it's probably not freedom. It's just noise. Because once you start using money to buy back your life, not just decorate it, everything else starts to fall into place. So remember, the rich don't win by grinding harder. They win because they play a different game. It's a game where they treat money like a tool, not just a trophy. It's where every dollar has a job and none of it's for show. It's where time is more valuable than stuff. And peace is the real flex that no one sees. It's a game where you stop reacting and start building instead. And you stop trying to look successful and you actually become free. You stop chasing more and you become content. That's the real game. And the moment that you start playing it, everything changes. Here's what I wish someone told me earlier in my life. The secret isn't hidden. It's just hard to hear in a noisy world because everything around us screams consume, right? But real wealth, it whispers. It grows in the quiet, in your discipline, and the systems that you build. So if you're shifting your mindset, making smarter moves, automating, and subscribing, hitting that like button, you're already ahead of the curve. So stay focused, stay intentional, and play the game with purpose. And if this video helped you rethink how money really works, go watch this next. Why the first 100,000 is the hardest and what no one tells you. I'll show you how this milestone changes absolutely everything and how to build real momentum without burning out. Because once you pass that line, wealth, it stops feeling impossible. So thanks so much for watching. Stay humble, stay in the black, and I'll see you in the next one.